To Global Morning. It's a beautiful Sunday, and we're here to spice up your day. It's the beginning of a new week, of course, and we want to say welcome on board to an amazing week. I am Anita Patrick, and I'll be doing this alone on a Global Morning weekend. I have my co-host with me, Mukhtar Kasim. How you doing?
Hey, Anita. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, looking radiant and beautiful as always.
Are you sure this radiant part is actually radiant?
It's certainly easy. Might not be. You know, ladies, they don't really believe compliments, but we're not whining you. When I tell you look good, you actually do look good.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a good Sunday, and we have a lot of things lined up. And the country has had its own share of a lot of issues happening.
The dramas, insecurity, and what's not.
Some interesting, some exciting news with the ambassadorial release of list, nominees list.
And of course, you might even say controversial because that's what some people have termed it. But
exactly. But the president said it has to do with non-career and career ambassadors. So let's see how this pans at the end of the day. But today we have a lot of things to tell our viewers. And we're going to start boldly with the newspaper review segments where we'll bring you the stories making the headways on the front covers of papers. And we have a lot of them lined up. We have The Guardian, we have the likes, Nation, Punch, all of that will bring your way. Also, we'll have our discussion segments where it's an interesting conversation in the light of insecurity in the nation. And we just thought it was high time to discuss these issues and bring it to the front burner and have you sit with us and talk about this thing, and also look at sports. Yeah, in the news, I just finished reading the news and we saw that where there's a whole lot happening in the issue of funding, especially with the football. So we'll talk to us about how that can do better. Mukhtar.
Of course, funding and transparency has been an issue, and we've seen Nigeria not go to the World Cup, and people have said corruption is also a very major reason why. And of course, like you said, we should not let the cat out of the bag. Our audience should stick around and find out more about that conversation.
All right, that's the much we have today, but let's quickly take this time out, and at our return, we'll bring you newspaper review segment, so we'll give you all the stories making the round. Please stay with us. Have you back, and like we told you, this newspaper review segment, and we have our lineup of papers. Quickly, we'll start with the Nation newspaper, which is our very first paper on our rundown for you today. And it starts boldly with this looks very interesting. I like it. For the first time, the Nation is coming very different for me with this whole front cover. And then we have the very first one that says protection. That's above the masthead. It says protection, VIPs turn to correctional service, and NSCDC, private security firms, as the writer that says police disowns viral memo on withdrawal of officers. This is an interesting conversation because, Mukhtar, you've seen where at the parliament, when the debates came in for that special session to handle the issue of insecurity in the nation, where the lawmakers said, are they not VIPs? How do they go to their constituencies and not have security operatives go with them in the plight of this insecurity in the nation?
Well, that argument is one that is valid on one side.
Yes.
But on the other side, you'd look like, are the Nigerian people not also VIPs in their own country? Because it's a fact that Nigeria does not have enough policemen to safeguard each and every citizen. and the average is very poor. And we said that these people, and aside even lawmakers, VIPs, lawmakers might be
former.
Yes, people that are no longer in office, people that, like someone has said, you'd go to places, clubs and all, you see people who are not supposed to have these VIPs, who are not even public officials, to be honest, because some people are not even public officials, but because they have maybe the willpower or the financial muscle,
they request for it.
They request for
and it gets.
Public officers, police officers who are supposed to be manning the streets for the people, and these people are attached to so-called VIPs. So I think this is a good one, and if you want, if you're a VIP and you are that important, you can get yourself a private security
firm.
Yes. So,
but for me, I think I like this whole idea because yes, the country is bleeding in terms of insecurity, and there's a whole lot of concern. The ordinary man on the street is saying, "What's our fate?
Am I not a VIP?
Am I not a human
my own country?"
being first?
Yes,
that's it. It starts with being a human being who needs safety, which is supposed to be the fundamental provision by the authorities of government to govern the people. And this is what's going on. But a whole lot of back and forth has come with this new ideals, which has been the new instructions, if I put it that way, that has been given or directive given to the security. And but the fact is still good. You're not told that you won't have any. We're saying turn to this other security outfits.
I still have issues with this. Why would correctional service officers be guarding VIPs? That's not their work. They're supposed to be guarding our inmates, not to be people who are going after politicians and so-called VIPs. And for me, the best option, like I've told you earlier, if you're a VIP and maybe you're not occupying a public office, get yourself a private security
firm, because these people are also trained and they're told how to keep you safe.
Certainly, that's the job they're there for. And with the Rider Access Police, this own viral memo, of course, we saw that memo come out and say that very notable names like the former vice president, former first ladies, they were alleged to have had their securities withdrawn. But of course, the police have come out to say that list is not a valid list. It's just a, if you like, fake news.
Okay. So we have that on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. But let's quickly tell you other stories also making the headways there. Below the masthead there, you have the story that comes out boldly that says EFCC probes Malami over alleged multi-million-dollar deals. And that story is on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And then beside it there we have the story.
We have got a story that says ambassadors, why Tinubu opted for OK Dalhatu Are, and details is on page 2 of the Nation's newspaper. Well,
you need to pick a copy because we've seen that this list has had its own, a lot of people speaking to this list that has been released. But for how long? A lot of Nigerians have said we've not seen the list of ambassadorial lists given out to Nigeria. We've not had ambassadors
for over 2 years, and the government, and what they are saying now is we waited for so long, and they say we are not surprised at the names we are seeing, and we're not impressed by the names either, because they feel some people have said those people on the list are compensations for politicians, even though the list is categorized into career ambassadors and non-career ambassadors. But people are saying the people who are seen here, they're not new names and they're not new faces, and the track record they have are not really one that is impressive. So how much can they represent Nigeria on the world stage, seeing that they were not able to do it at home? If you cannot do it at home, is it when you go outside that you're able to deliver? Well,
should we give the room for the benefit of doubt?
I think
the president has his own reasons for putting them out.
I am one that likes to give people the benefit of the doubt, even though and second chances, of course, can be given. So let's see how they perform in that particular office before we pass our judgment.
All right. So let's hope that this pans out well, and we see how that's when they scale through the nomination.
Of course, they have got through the Senate and the National Assembly, basically,
before they get out of that. But below that, we also have a lot of stamp there with letters showing a whole. But let's tell you what that is about. We have that says federal court issues orders restraining police from Drocox, Abuja and Lagos properties, including Nestor Tower. There you have it in the picture story there, giving you all the guides. So you need to pick up a copy of the Nation newspaper
to get the details.
Find out the details of that particular story. But that's the much we can take with the Nation newspaper. Let's quickly tell you other stories making the rounds with Sunday Punch. Sunday Punch newspaper has its own story boldly there for us. Sunday Punch, quickly, we have the first major headline that speaks boldly with Sunday Punch. It says, ambassadors, opposition, APC clash over Tinubu's nominees. And that story with the writer that says, INEC chair nominations scandalous, bad optics, PDP, ADC, NNPP. And then we have APC defense list, rejects claims of political compensation. And that story is on page 3. And we've talked about this already. We've seen that a lot of controversies, a lot of opinions, a lot of talks, bringing both to the political space and also talking about it on the side of compensation and all of that. But the APC have come and say this is not the tone for it. The president, in his wisdom, knew why he picked this. Like he said, they're both career and non-career paths. And look at the tone with the former INEC chairman. The INEC chairman, nobody is a perfect being. And looking at the work environments which he worked with, he did his own part. And for me, he brought a lot of innovation into the electoral space by ensuring that democracy, he tried to deepen that with democracy all the innovations from the BVAS to the IRF and all of those things. If he's getting this, the president feels, for me, I think, or I believe that that's one area he's saying that he could bring in more of that from the foreign base to bring into Nigeria if he has that interface with the position or the country they push him to, if he gets through the nomination from the nomination screening from the Senate. True,
like you said, people are seeing that as a reward. Some people are seeing that as a reward for meritorious service with the initiative he brought in our electoral system, the innovations he brought. But the other side of the argument is it's too close. This person just finished his office. It's like reward for a particular service. People are saying this, the president maybe, and don't forget he oversaw the election that saw the president emerge as the president today. So people are saying, is that a reward for a particular act? Those are the other.
Thank you.
Yes, to say thank you. That's another part of the argument. But like you said, he's someone who has the resume, who has the experience. So we just would wait to see if he would deliver on this particular mandate.
Okay, but like I said, let's give people the benefit of the doubts and see that the president knew his reasons or had reasons to looking at this list. Of course, he would have had a number of lists presented to him, but he had to just pick from that number of lists to say that this one pans out. But let's go above the masthead of the Sunday Punch. We have Atiku block shop for VIP. Eyes Obi Amechi.
2027, Nanyete.
That's on page 3. 2027 has a whole lot coming up for us in Nigeria. And my concern is with the next story beside that. Inside Zamfara, Katsina communities costly peace deals with terrorists. We're looking at 2027. We're looking at the issue of insecurity. And the authorities, the government is doing its best to see how this can be resolved ahead of that. Because you don't have a peaceful state, you don't have a peaceful cities or towns or communities. Who do you go to take your campaigns to?
Exactly. Who do you govern? If your communities are deserted and your people are being killed, who are you presiding over if you become president, governor, or local government chairman per se? So who are these people? That's why the issue of security is one of national importance. And I'm happy with the fact that the president in the past week declared a national emergency on the security situation in Nigeria. So we hope that particular declaration by the president turns into results, because we've seen bandits. People are saying bandits are like forming parallel governments across the country, and we've seen that incident happen previously, and it's like a return to that particular state, which we do not want to go back to, where we see bandits forming legitimacy and telling people that they have to remit particular sums of money to them because they are a constituted authority. So that's not one that we want for Nigeria.
Okay, hopefully we get the tone right and get the best for Nigerians ahead of 2027, even though we're looking at our intentions to govern the people, but safety is paramount.
That's the number one.
And peace and unity is what the nation needs at this particular time, and not that's all. So let's move away from that conversation and get to this other story. I'm looking at this. Why Christians must traditionally fortify against bandits. Lagos Pastor Daramola speaking there, and that story is on page. Now, if you're fortifying, what other way should you fortify yourself? You're praying to God already.
He said traditionally.
Traditionally, I don't understand. What format? Please, let's just get it right. If the nation is at peace, We don't need to go through all of this.
Will not even come up
all of this
as
phase.
conversation.
So this should even be a conversation. We should talk about a united front, a front in which all of this can be resolved.
Certainly.
And the nation is. It doesn't matter the religion, the practice, whatever you
Certainly.
do. Just
we all bleed red at the end of the day, and we
understand?
all are people.
We all have blood.
Everybody has blood, so
yeah.
we should not make it a religious conversation.
I'm telling you, I've always said let's just be a nation thing and look at how this pans out well for every other person. But still talking insecurity, Mukhtar, we have where it says Nigerians shun road transport as air travel surges. That's on page 7, and it's not cheap.
I saw that headline. The first thing that came to my mind, you said Nigerians. So I talked about the average Nigerian.
Yes.
And how many average Nigerians like myself are capable of affording such flights?
No, the truth is, for your safety, I know Nigerians who are very industrious people. For the fact that everybody wants to be alive and safe and eat the fruit of their labor. Because I was talking to somebody, I said, you come to this world naked,
you go back
nothing, you go out, no, that I mean, come out as blank as anything,
empty.
You hustle all your life, you do a lot of things, try to make ends meet, at the same time you go back with the same nothing. So the little space of time Nigerians have, they want to be sure they enjoy the space and let the life they are living be comfortable as much as they can, since they look up to the authorities, and the authorities are still trying to ensure that this safety is provided for Nigerians. So now it's congratulations to the air space, but the air providers should also look at the way of making this subsidized. In my own opinion, I feel it might also help Nigerians who have the need to move from one city or state to the other and to be safe.
That's correct, Aniti. Well, I think you're looking at this from the elitist point of view. Of course, maybe you're an elite.
No, that's what I'm saying, they should subsidize
but for the common masses, how much is an average flight?
But
it's well over 100,000.
Do you remember when you used to fly for 15,000?
That's my point.
25,000.
That's my point. And can we go back to those days? Because as it is right now, how many Nigerians can comfortably afford a local flight from a state to the next state?
Yeah.
The answer is clear. It's a very meager minority. A vast majority have no resources to afford this particular air transport. So the government, if they want, as people are turning to this, and security is what it is at the moment, like you said, subsidies should be provided so that every Nigerian, or at least a vast majority of Nigerians, can be able to afford this particular means of transportation.
Yeah. Well, we hope that comes to play. Hopefully, that comes to play. Hopefully. But let's move away from that story and tell you other stories on page 19 there, where it says how Pastor Kumuyi, Dr. Olukoya shaped my music career. Unilag Don, Professor Oke Lome speaking there on page 19. And then we have other stories making the round as well.
Yes, below the at the bottom side, you'd see it says churches installed CCTV, halt vigils over bandit attack. That's not a good one, but the fact that they're installing CCTVs is a good one to improve our security across board. And the details of that story is on page 10 of the Punch newspaper. And just beside it, you'd see Nigerian parents struggling to raise children abroad. And
that's the travails of Nigerian parents struggling to raise their children. Well, that's because they've also looked out for greener pasture, to travel abroad, feel that education should be there. But I know some countries give provisions for free school. You don't need to pay. So if you are trying to find a way, see, I tell people you don't need to travel abroad. Yes, with a lot of concern, no country is without its own challenges. This is your country, Nigeria. If you have the opportunity to travel, why not travel? But if you don't have the means, look for a way that you can work around your means and work with your pace, with what you can afford to give your child the quality of education you can. So you don't need to overstretch yourself. Looking at the economic state of the nation, a lot of people have their own concerns where they're struggling to meet certain things.
Yes. Another angle is the struggles are beyond even the finances. It's with the discipline. You know, the system there is much more different. So how do parents balance the traditional Nigerian schooling and the discipline we install with maybe, you know, we believe in sparing the rod and not spoiling the child.
But that doesn't work.
But it doesn't work there. So how do you balance it as a Nigerian parent? So those are the struggles.
You find a way around it. You don't have a choice.
You have to find a way around
because your child will be taken off you.
So it's just something else.
So another shocking story there below the masthead there says experts fear HIV rise after drop after 55% drop in condom distribution. Okay, so I don't understand. Do you need to wait for this to be distributed before you can tell yourself how to be safe?
You know, before now, this particular headline, we have international bodies that
Usually distribution.
But it
So
has seen
when they don't
we've
give
seen
you
a
any
spike.
money,
They are like, oh, you're on your own.
Let me not use that too.
They're telling you you're on
do
your
the right
own.
thing to do for yourself because
So-
it's your health first.
Exactly. So you have to be putting yourself first, abstinent, or at least try to be cautious in your
And protect yourself.
and protective.
If you
in
want
your-
to live long.
If you want to. So
Okay.
you don't
So
want
it's not a choice. If you want to, because I don't see the reason why, because you don't get free distribution,
And then you
will
don't
not
use
take care of yourself.
It doesn't make any sense
Okay.
because your health
Let's
is
not do a
number
lot
one.
about that because I'm going to speak. Let's go to the other paper making the rounds. We have the Sunday Tribune paper, and it has its own story with a different tone here that makes the headline with the Sunday Tribune. It starts boldly. It says non-payment of ground rent orders. Wike's hammer falls on powerful Nigerians. With a writer that says revokes land belonging to Ilorin Emir, Lamido, Ganduje, Donald Duke, Iyabo Obasanjo, CBN, Oyo, Borno orders. That's on page 4.
That's some bold moves there, actually.
This is really a hammer.
It's a strong hammer. And for me, if we're not being picky, if it is via due process,
Yes.
not paying the
Ground rent.
ground rent, then it's a right move. But then there should be, because if we were trying to be accountable, there should be no sacrificial or sacrilegious cows. Nobody should be spared. So these are big names, and we hope they do the needful and the situation is resolved, basically.
Okay, so we have other stories as well that had that cover there above the masthead there. Let's get to that before we cut, because there's a picture story with what we just talked about, and then above the masthead there we have where it says Tinubu restates commitment to Northwest leaders over insecurity, and we have the writer that says promises to restore stability nationwide, and then we have troops rescue 21 kidnapped victims, fuel attacks in nationwide operations, and that story is on page.
That's a positive.
8.
Amidst all the negativity,
Yes.
that's a positive.
That's a positive, because we've been talking about this all the while, because the government have been looking at measures to see that safety is paramount. Safety of citizens is paramount, and it set the tone for Nigerians to understand that the government is not neglecting the citizens.
They're not resting on their
yes, they are putting a lot of
effort
to ensure that Nigerians are safe and they are well kept. But another thing that concerns that people have raised is, yes, you're doing all of these things. The bandits, where are they? That's the question. You've rescued. Where are the people who perpetrated this particular act?
That was the question
That's
that
the
was
question
asked.
on the lips of
Because
a lot of
they said,
Nigerians.
okay, we've seen the girls, but we've not seen the bandits.
So it looks like I'm always on the part where I see the victims being restored, and the next thing they're wearing uniforms.
And people say this is looking like a staged kind of.
So it raises a lot of questions to. Let's see apprehension. Let's see this guys
brought to book.
That's
Yes.
the questions. Even at the over the week last week, where we had the National Assembly debated or talked about this, those were the issues that lawmakers were asking. We've seen the girls. Where are the bandits? You know, so hopefully, as Nigerians ask those questions, we hope that they finally get
the answers and the right answers to
and
these
the right
questions.
answers, and then maybe Nigerians will now know that, okay, this is what we've seen, this is how it's actually playing out, and things will pan out very well on that.
Hopefully.
And then moving away from that story, we have same story. We've talked about this, which is our washed all papers,
Yes.
the nomination list with a list of names there. We have the list there, and also have 28 orders attached to that list. Afenifere Defense. Let me start with that. Ex-INEC Chairman Yakubu Ajimobi Fanikayode Reno Mukri, 28 others nominated as ambassadors. Afenifere Defense occurs nomination. There's a whole lot happening around stories of nomination.
There are some names there which people
are
said
questioning.
these people were critics of, even though we know in politics there's only permanent interest, no permanent enemies and friends, but people on that list were seen to be very critical of the person of the president, and now they are on that particular list. But then It's all for the
what?
national interest.
Let's see how time pans out.
Yes.
And so let's see. We have other story. Says I was last journalist to interview Sir Amadou Bello, and it's that's from Meme Yeton, and that's on page 24. We also have other stories. Human error, not vandalism, caused recent train accident. That's NRC MD. And it assures passengers safety. Well, that's the story there. And then below that, we have Tinubu has less than 5 months to impress Nigeria's Ndume speaking. And the writer says kicks against integration of repentant terrorists.
I support him 100%, because first of all, he said less than 5 months, which means he's looking towards the next election cycle. And the president, like you said, is doing his best. But of course, we need to see much more effort. And then kicking against the integration of bandits. The question is, these people, you say they have been de-radicalized, the word they use, and then you bring them back to communities. Well, how sincere are those people in their efforts of turning a new leaf? Because we've seen situations where they said these same people eventually go back and meet the same people they had left. So it's one that, for me, I don't really buy into the idea of bringing them back to communities. They should just be made to face the book and face their punishment for whatever crimes they had committed.
Okay, so we have the story there beside that says gunmen also have kidnapped Oba in his farm in Kwara. That story is on page 4. Kwara seemed to have a hit of this insecurity
Honestly,
in the last few days that we've seen stories coming from Kwara State. And I saw a story as well yesterday where a palm wine tapper was also kidnapped, and he paid a ransom of 10,000 and yet he was still killed.
10,000 naira.
I'm telling you.
That's a sad one.
So it's really heartbreaking when you see stories like this, and the insecurity thing just gets you worried. And you look out, well, each time you move, you look above your shoulders
is, who's
to
next
see
victim?
who's the next
Nobody
victim,
is
or
safe.
how safe
are we?
You know, as a Nigerian. But that's the story there, and just like the government is doing its best, I also tell citizens also look out for yourself and try to avoid a whole lot of quiet spaces where you know that these things can be a concern. Let's move away from that story quickly and take the Sunday Vanguard quickly. The Sunday Vanguard paper has its own story. Still talking about terrorists. We have terrorist strongholds in 9 states. That's the Sunday Vanguard. Terrorists strongholds in 9 states. And then there's a breakdown of the states and the particular communities and the concerns that are raised there. We have there in Sokoto, where we have the Lakurawa point. We have Zamfara Herdsmen, Lakurawa, and Mamuda. We also have in Kebbi. There's a whole lot of story there around Kebbi, the armed groups, migrating armed groups. We also have in Kwara, Mamuda, and there were herdsmen, Nigerian bandits. We also have in Kogi, herdsmen, local transit bandits. We have in Benue, armed herdsmen. We have in Kaduna, Ansaru, and then we have in Kanu, spillover bandits, Katsina, long-established bandits, and herdsmen. That's a whole lot of concerns.
It's a network. It's not even a one.
So it's like interwoven. It goes across, and then you see that breakdown there where it talks on those issues, where it says inside the network of Lakurawa, Mamuda, foreign jihadists, local bandits terrorizing North West, North Central, and another that says why bandits are difficult to defeat. Militarily, Colonel Samalia Yobe, retired Civil War veteran. That's on page 10. There's a whole lot of concern with this.
It's actually disturbing, and these people, sometimes you see them, they actually converge and merge to wage war on the people. So it's not even a one particular.
It's not actually
not one.
because so with this guide here, you see the whole issue, how it plays out
across regions. It's not even a particular state. It's a regional affair, and it's one that continues to spiral, and it's one that has to be nipped in the bud. Even though, of course, it's bad, but if it is not checked and these people are allowed to group and become much stronger, people are saying their intention is to even upstage the Nigerian state and become a parallel government.
Yeah,
and
it's
with
not
this,
possible. That cannot even happen.
oh, of course, we hope it doesn't happen. But with this strength we're seeing
Hopefully.
here, they are already spreading. So the government has to nip this
That's
in the
8
bud.
states.
8 states. So
Having
this is not a small.
It's not a small business at all.
Exactly. So
it's not looking at the best way of making money, because the kidnappers tend to be the rich boys now.
It seems like a lucrative industry, and it's not one that is good for our nation. So the government has to actually take this in cognizance to be able to nip it in the bud before it gets any worse than already it is.
Okay, so let's look away from that and tell you other stories. The words of the King of Malago by Fani Kayode. That story is on page 13. We also have no Christian persecution in Nigeria. Kuka insists. That's on page 4. A lot of story there making the rounds, and then we also have other stories as well, where we have the story talking about vandals as vandals cripple real assets. International scrap metal syndicates in the buyer. NRC MD reveals. That story there is on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then just below the the list of the states there with the terrorists, we have stakeholders react as bandits send thousands of students out of school. This one concern,
education,
which is going to be part of our discussion,
yes,
is affecting the education sector. A whole lot of concerns there.
You know, we saw schools being closed down, and people were critical of some of the state governments, even though, of course, that policy was in good intention. They are saying closing down schools is like you giving the tourists what they want. They want to see people out of school. They want to see Nigeria's education in shambles. So why close down our schools? But of course, that decision was guarded in terms of safety and prevention of such occurrences. So this is one that's not really nice.
Okay, so we have a bit of entertainment there. Let's move away from all that. We have the picture of Thames. Thames speaking tough there. She says, God kept me going through fame. She knows what she's saying, and that's why she has to come out there to speak on that. Certainly. And then away from that, we also have where it says Amac stands at a turning point. Moses Paul, ADC candidate in February 24th poll. Don't forget the poll is coming for the area council elections here in the FCT.
Certainly.
And all that stories. We'll find out when that comes true. Well, let's move away from the Sunday Vanguard and quickly take you to this day. This day has its own stories that leads the front corner of the front cover page there of this day newspaper. It says Tinubu sends 32 additional ambassadorial nominees list to Senate for confirmation. That's a wash all papers.
Certainly.
And then let's quickly tell you the story above the masthead there.
Above the masthead, you'd see a bit of politics that says ADC, only viable alternative for Nigerians, says Atiku, insists APC, PDP have failed. And still sticking with this day newspaper, we see a picture story that says Guinea-Bissau crisis on their mind. Former President Jonathan left being received by President Tinubu, and of course Jonathan has said that particular coup was a ceremonial coup, not a real coup as it were. And of course there's a story that says, just in the middle, it says President Tinubu vows to work tirelessly to tackle insecurity, with a rider that says Badaru Ubasani others call for decentralized security approach in northwest Nigeria. Another rider says porous borders, drug crisis fueling region's violence, says the Kaduna government. And just below, we see a story that says Nenadi Usman, led faction of the Labour Party, submits leadership list to new INEC boss, Amo Piton. Details of this particular story is on page 6 of This Day newspaper. And that's about the much we can take from This Day newspaper. We move to the next paper, which is the Sunday Independent newspaper. And the Sunday Independent newspaper has a whole different story, moving away from the politics. It says, farmers helpless as banditry takes its toll on food production, with a rider that says, wants urgent measures, mechanized system to forestall crisis in 2026. Of course, we know with the banditry and insecurity, they are very much related, and we hope to see that change for the better. Aniti.
Well, there is a whole lot happening. What do we do? Bandits, farmers, helpless really at this point. and there's a whole lot of issues. If we don't have enough food on our table, what do we make of ourselves?
You know, the government has been saying they intend to achieve food security for Nigeria.
Yes.
But for me, if insecurity is not tackled, then food security cannot be achieved.
It can't, because that's what the farmers will have to go to provide the food, to go farming and do the production, get to the harvest point, so we had the food and now get to the market.
You know, we've heard, yes, exactly. We've had situations where they would say, if we wish to plant, we have to pay homage to the bandits. Once it's harvest season, before you are able to harvest your crops, they still ask you to pay. So that situation is not one that is good for our food security in Nigeria, and we hope to see a change in the situation.
Okay, hopefully that the food production will get to play out as soon as possible.
And then moving next,
we have security emergency.
Of course, we have got stories that said security emergency, transit to modern policing. Experts urge the federal government. Of course, we know the policing system we are practicing. People have said we need to do much better, and experts here are advocating for modern policing, and we hope the federal government will look into that and also key into that system. And of course, moving away, we've seen the same story from previous papers. Says Mahmoud Yakub, Reno Omokri make list of Tinubu's ambassadorial nominees. And details of this particular story is on page 8 of the Independent newspaper. But looking above the masthead, it's a totally different headline that says, how fake spare parts mechanics cut short Nigerian motorist lives. Okay,
so I'm looking at this point. Is it the mechanics challenge or it is the production point? Because the mechanic will go by the parts that he feels is the spare part that fits your vehicle, and he will see, because from the buyers and from what he sees, it looks very original to him.
If you ask me,
on the mechanic,
I'll use our pigeon palace and say na collabo for me, because we've seen mechanics who have shortchanged passengers and put inferior parts to them. In fact, we've seen situations where they would say, I took a particular car for repairs, and the mechanics removed XYZ that was not even bad and replaced it with a bad one. So it's a collabo for me, and it's not a good one, because if people give you their
money
cars,
for it and all that,
they're holding you in trust. They believe you are capable of doing that job. So do not betray their trust by shortchanging them. That's because we always talk about government shortchanging the people. One thing we do not talk about is we as people shortchanging ourselves. So we need to be much more accountable and much more trustworthy amongst ourselves inside government.
Okay, all right. Inside the government, it's time for you to hold yourself accountable as a Nigerian. I tell people governance starts with you as a Nigerian, because we Nigerians, we're the citizens, are the ones who put these people in office through our votes.
True.
And most times when I see voter apathy, I'm always worried, because at the time where the delivery comes in not as expected, concerns are raised, and you hear people raising a lot of issues, and I'm saying, were you there to cast your vote? And the concerns will still be raised as to, even if we vote, they don't still give us what we want.
Still vote,
you know, but I tell Nigerians, if you understand the power of your votes,
you would never shy away from the polls.
You will never shy from the polling unit. You go out because it is your voice.
It's your franchise.
Trust me, it has worked out for Nigerians in 2015. And several cases. So why should this case be different? Trust me, if we make up our minds as Nigerians to say it is this, we would move away from the mindset of hunger, poverty line, and not allow that. I was in Anambra for the election, and where one of the observers from the CSOs were talking about, they said, if Nigerians understand that the political elite or whatever wants to feel that it's time to spend the money, stretch them.
Collect the money and still vote for
your
conscience.
Your conscience tells you the right person can do it. So if we have the mindset that it is time we set the tone right and get these answers and get these people accountable, we'll do the right thing and vote the person of our choice. Well, that's the much we can take on the newspaper review segment. Thank you so much for being a part of this particular segment. Up next is our discussion segment, and you don't want to miss out of that conversation, because it's going to be an engaging one. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
A very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
as always, it's a pleasure to have you. Join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it on Social Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss. And of course,
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
Peaceful and joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on...
Women can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as...
Very numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Festival is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time where we'll look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to...
Rural leaders in United
Welcome
Nigeria.
to Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
Turn Up Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
It's good to have you back on this particular segment of our discussion. It's still Global Morning, and this particular segment is our discussion segment where we'll be looking at a very important conversation. And this is something in line with the issue of insecurity, which we've been talking about over time, that it's high time for Nigerians to look at solutions and ways where our children can be safe and still have the opportunity to learn. because this has been a concern. If you listen to our conversation during this review segment, so that we saw that a number of children have been kept out of school due to the issue of insecurity. But let's quickly give you this particular guide. Across Nigeria, classrooms are increasingly under threat from schools' adoptions to violent attacks that have forced thousands of children out of learning spaces. As communities struggle with learning spaces, insecurity, the conversation is shifting to how safe schools can be guaranteed and how digital learning can help bridge the widening education gap. So this morning, we will turn our focus to the Safe School Initiative, its progresses, challenges, and what must change to protect the future of Nigeria's children. And joining us is Mariam Tanko Salami, education consultant and a passionate advocate for safe, accessible, technology-driven education. Mariam, it's good to have you join us. How are you doing? All the way from Lagos. Thank you so much, Mariam.
Hi, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
You look great. I appreciate the fact that you had to come in.
Thank you.
All right, Mariam, I know this is something you're very passionate about as an education consultant, and I know you have a lot of concerns the fact that Nigerian children are being kept out of the learning environment. When we talk about safe schools in Nigeria, we're no longer speaking in hypotheticals. From Chibok to Dapchi and the most recent kidnappings, insecurity has become a direct assault on education. How would you describe the current state of school safety nationwide?
As you rightly talked about it, we all know that right now school safety is a serious problem and concern for not just parents, but a community at large. Some schools are trying their best, but many are still not protected. I mean, our biggest stress, like we've all seen, is the kidnapping, the insecure school environment. And I feel like people usually enter schools, the school environment, without being properly checked. I think that is one major issue. And aside that, we also face things like cultism, violence, but I feel like teachers are they're not trained enough to manage issues like this. Imagine if we had like teachers understanding the safety program, and then they're able to educate the children about it, what to do when situations like this happen. I know we are not always prepared, but I think drilling would help us plan better and then become prepared for things like this. Unfortunately, we're in a country where I feel like we're not safe, even as not just children, even as an individual. So there are things that could be put in place that could help in this in our insecure environment, so to speak.
So you've looked at the issue of training, advocacy, making a safe space. So what key threats concerns you of the most challenge we have today in our educational sector? Because one, you've talked about the safe space. I know at schools where we have the security operatives man the gates when you bring your children to school. Is that enough?
It is not enough. I feel like children also need to be in the know. They need to understand things that are happening. Yes, I know we have social medias, we have news flying here and there, but I think that it should be done in a formal way so children can understand what is really happening. So they can also be ready to, be safe for themselves, not just the school. So I feel like that would help to a large extent. And then the securities, I feel like most times we don't have trained securities. We have them at the gates, but they don't necessarily know what to do. they are just employed and then they're just asked to start. Some schools go to that extent. They train the security guards. They tell them what to do. But I feel that is not enough. We need to work as a community, so to speak. We need to work as not just a school. We need to work as individuals. We need to work as groups. We need to work as leaders, education leaders. We need to work. We just need to pass the message, keep talking about it, and keep helping children understand what the safety is all about.
Okay, so we've seen this whole thing play, but let's look at the Safe School initiative, where that's one area a lot of concern have been raised about, and how we can get the children to be safe following the insecurity rise in the country. The Safe School initiative was launched in 2014 as a collaborative effort between governments and partners to secure learning spaces. From your perspective, has the initiative delivered on its objectives so far? And what gaps still exist in this particular initiative?
Well, obviously not, because we had a case of kidnapping recently, and the main goal was to protect schools. I mean, the Safe School initiative was to protect schools, improve securities, and then help students feel safe. And I think it included providing security guards, improving the school building, school fence, training teachers on emergency, and then supporting students that were affected or were affected by violence. And then I feel like it is not happening in most schools, because I mean, look at what happened recently. I don't feel like the security guards were even prepared. I don't think that the school fences or school buildings were well structured enough for things like this not to happen. I mean, this is why it was initiated in 2014, because of what happened, the kidnapping that happened. And we're not living up to that. We're not living up to the initiative. And if we are to now rely on schools that are taking it upon themselves, I also feel like teachers are not well trained, and they're not they don't drill themselves more as teachers, as the school. And I don't feel like it is happening, honestly. Yes, I know some schools are saying that they're safe, we're not going to be attacked. Most private schools will be under this safe initiative. But what about the public schools that really needs the government to help in this regard? So I don't think it has really taken place, or it has really been initiated, because we still have dangers in the schools. We still have dangers in the community. We still have students that are scared of going back to school. We have students that are saying they'll rather, learn from home than go to school. We have parents that are also scared of taking their children to boarding houses. So if this is still happening and we're still scared, I don't think it is. Maybe it is out there, but not powerful enough to erase, our fear as parents, our fear as educators, and so on.
Okay, so I see that you've raised a lot of concerns, because I went to a boarding house and it was actually an interesting and engaging one, being in a boarding space. But like you mentioned, and with the trend of insecurity, I've seen parents raise a lot of concern that I schooled in the north, and it was a boarding house, and it was safe at that time. But now a whole lot of worries have been raised by parents. So you've talked about stay at home to learn. Let's talk about the digital learning. With many communities now too unsafe for physical learning, digital platforms have become a lifeline. Do you see digital learning as a temporary alternative or a permanent solution in Nigeria's current security climate?
It can work both ways. It can be temporary, it can be permanent. But I mean, are we ready? Because we just finished talking about the school safety initiative, and then that hasn't taken place. I don't feel like it is well grounded. So if we are to look into moving the physical classroom to the digital space, are we really ready? It's not just giving the school or the teachers digital devices. They need to be well trained on tools that they're going to be using. Some teachers are very good to teach children physically, but are they able to understand how to use tools, how to share like their probably you're having a Zoom meeting, or you have like you're using Google Meet. Are you able to share a board and then express your teaching there? Are children able to follow through during the conversations you're having? So these are the things that we need to look at. It's not just about having the device. Are we ready to train teachers? Also, we also need to look at the no light situation. Some areas,
I was about getting to that, the infrastructural challenges.
As an example, yes, we don't have light. Some teachers are living in areas where light is not constant, and then probably you have a scheduled learning. You have a scheduled session with your children. How are you able to carry this? And then we also have situations that no lights for like maybe 3 days, 4 days. How are you able to manage the situation? So I feel like as a country, we're not ready yet, but this can happen effectively if we put things in place. If we have light, if the government are willing to train teachers. It is very, I am actually an advocate for training teachers, because we all feel like the teachers have been experienced enough. They have 10 years experience, 15 years experience, and then they understand, everything that the school encompasses. So it is not always all about that. There are things that should be in place as well. Yes.
Okay, so you've actually taken it out of me where I wanted to ask about the internet access and then digital literacy for them to understand how to put this on the display if they have a Google Meet or a Zoom Meet. How realistic is wide-scale digital learning for children in rural communities or conflict-affected communities, and what practical steps can be taken to bridge this gap? Because right now we're looking at the hinterlands. How, if that is going to be a permanent solution, I just want us to see how visible we can bridge that gap.
Yes, we can bridge the gap if we're willing as a country to. I just mentioned the things that are
the concerns
very important that we need to put in place. Aside that, as little community, let me say, as an advocate for children, as an educational consultant, I usually put out free trainings out there concerning situations like this, because since COVID, I have been an online virtual educator. I own an online school, and then I feel like experience has taught me that it is doable and is also manageable. So with this little help, we can share the word and then make people understand how digital devices can be used, how you can help children understand and learn better through digital devices. So yes, it is doable, but we need to come in as communities. We need to come in as consultants and educators to help teachers understand this better. But I will let you know this. We have trained teachers and virtual teachers out there that are doing well. They own virtual schools. They're teaching children, mostly children in diaspora, on digital devices. Yes.
Okay, so let's look at, you've done this online space and all that. You've talked about how this works. But digital learning sounds great, but data costs are too high. How can tech education be affordable for low-income families? That's one side. And then you also have the teachers' safety. Teachers are often targeted during school attacks. What policies or training strategies can improve teachers' safety and readiness during security threats? That's a two-in-one.
So, sorry, the first one, I remember the second one, but let me start with the second one. I think to help like we talked about it earlier, I think drilling sessions would help, because if you have like an emergency exit, I feel like that will help a lot. So we're talking about insecurity now, and we should also talk about like incidents like fire and all that. So I feel like it should be included in the drilling sessions. So where is the first safe space in the environment? Where can children run to? Where maybe the security is more intense than the school at large, the whole school at large. So if they're able to do this drilling at least maybe twice, or when there's necessity to do it. I'm sure most schools closed yesterday on Friday because of the insecurity. They finished their exams and they closed. But there are other activities that needed that would have been ongoing next week and then the week, because I think the school session this term will close maybe mid-December. But unfortunately, because of this rising insecurity issues, schools were forced to go on this break. So I feel like drilling would help. And you talked about low income.
Okay.
I think the major effect of that is majorly on public schools. I feel like some private schools pay their teachers well, and then if we were to get that, and then we're talking about them having their like having data on their phone to teach, or their devices rather, to teach children. This has to go back to the government. We need to talk about that. We need to increase teachers' pay, because this has been an ongoing situation or issue for teachers. We're underpaid. So and I think as an educator who has experienced like 15 years of teaching, I have experienced when I was paid like peanuts. I've experienced when I was paid well, and as time goes by, you tend to just find this as your for me, it's okay. Let me just speak for me. For me, it is something that I love doing. So eventually, it is not about the pay. It is what you love doing. What you love doing with children. What you love doing with your colleagues and all that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I don't think
all right, Miriam, we will just take a quick break. I just want to have you watch a report. We talked about homeschooling, and then when we come back, we'll have this conversation and see how we can get this better and go on with it. All right.
In recent years, homeschooling has become an increasingly popular option for families seeking an alternative to traditional public or private schools. With the rise of digital learning platforms, online resources, and changing attitude towards education, more and more parents are taking control of their children's learning. In this special report, we will explore the world of homeschooling, its benefits and challenges, and what it means for the future of education.
Because of the current situation of Nigeria now, insecurity and all that, I would say every parent should have a teacher for their child.
Homeschooling offers several benefits, including personalized learning and attention, flexibility in scheduling and pacing, ability to tailor education to individual learning styles, reduce peer pressure and social conflict, increase family time and bonding.
For a country where their infrastructure is highly developed, where you will not have issues when it comes to network issues, there is nothing wrong with online. But like in Nigeria, where we're still developing, I think it's better for children to have physical classes rather than online.
While home training can be a great option for some families, it also presents several challenges and concerns, including lack of socialization and social skills development, limited access to resources and facilities, potential biases in curriculum and teaching, increased responsibility and burden on parents.
If you look at the international community and look at the Nigerian system, the welfare of teachers has never been considered. And this is the motivational variables that every individual needs to look forward to.
As technology continues to evolve and improve, it's likely that homeschooling will become an even more viable and attractive option for many families. With the rise of online digital platforms, virtual reality, and other digital tools, homeschooling is becoming increasingly sophisticated and effective. Nefisa Baba, Global Television News.
Okay, welcome back. That's it. Thank you, Nefisa, for that particular report. It tells you that a whole lot is going on in terms of education for children, how this conversation is looking at the front burner, where homeschooling, digital learning can reframe the education sector in the light of insecurity. Miriam is still there. It's good to have you back. And the report by Nefisa said a lot about how homeschooling has helped parents get closer to their children and teach them better in the safe space where they feel their children are safe. So talking about that, education can't be secured by government alone. How can parents, community leaders, and the private sector collaborate to promote safer schools and inclusive digital learning?
Okay, so let's talk about how parents and community leaders can help. I feel like also as we are trying to train teachers, parents should also be orientated about some school rules, as well as some new steps that have been created for the school, so parents can understand better. They can understand the security situations. They can understand processes and procedures. Sorry, to get that, are we talking about digital space or the physical space?
Digital space.
Oh, okay.
For the parents and to engage their children.
Oh, now I understand. I think it's easy peasy for me, maybe because I've been in that line for a while. Yes, we have to also go back to the orientation. We need to talk to parents about how to engage children. Some parents during this digital activity or sessions where we are having to teach the children, they want to, help. They are prone to helping their children, especially when a child is not getting it. So these are the things that we need to put in the orientation. We need to talk to parents on how they can be patient enough for children to learn by themselves. If not, you keep, hearing a lot of distractions rather. Like parents would be like, "Is that not number 2? Write it now." They tend to take up your profession as a teacher. So if the presentation is being held, this should be discussed, and then it should also focus on the curriculum being used for the child, because in as much as I feel like some schools like to hoard their curriculum, well, I don't think this is something that is still happening anyway, but parents need to understand the children's curriculum as well, so they can help. We cannot have longer hours on the screen, because it would have distractions. Yes, exactly. The eyes and all that. So we need to make sure that they understand the curriculum to help, fill in some learning gaps. So we have like home farms that we give the parents to, practice with the children, not necessarily something that they should submit back to the school, but we have home farms that we can share with the parents. And then we also need to make them understand how to use the digital devices. They can also share their screen from wherever the child is having their session from. So we can use like the whiteboard. So the child can probably, if we're teaching the children how to recognize some certain numbers, the child can, write a proper formation of that number, and then you're able to see it from wherever you are. So these are the things that we need to orientate parents on for the proper development and academical development for the children.
All right, great. So let's look at public perception. Many Nigerians feel the Safe School initiative lack transparency and accountability. Do you believe the public still trust the program? Why and why not?
I feel like for obvious reasons, you don't trust the program. Like I said, it's just when we have, we would have situations happening, and I think it's a Nigerian thing that will be like, it's not even, it doesn't affect us anyway, and then we move on from it. But unfortunately, it might reach us one time. So sometimes. So we need to, understand these things. And I feel like we need like a body to engage the school community, to make them understand what school safety is. So we're not just shifting it to the government alone, we're also shifting it to the school environment to make them understand this. I talked about security guards not knowing their duties. They don't know what to do. Sometimes you just tell, sign there, go to the reception, somebody will answer you. Or if somebody is carrying something, I feel like we need that security check, in as much as some visitors or parents might frown at it, but this is for the safety of the children. And I also feel like we're not consistent with that. When we start, when like issues like kidnapping comes up, and then we go back to the norm, we start searching, and then at some point we relax. I feel like it should be a continuous thing, because it will also give, it won't give an edge to the kidnappers, because they know that security is tight here. They're always, checking. Even though there are some things that they don't look at, but I feel like it won't give them the edge to go to schools like that, because they know that security is tight. So we need to do that, not just as school leaders. We need to do it as a community. We need to report if there's any suspicion around, even if it's just you as an individual, you don't have a child in that school. If you feel like there's something not right, I think we also need to report. So we need to be sensitized about things like this to help the school safety initiative program take action.
President.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at this. A child has been traumatized psychologically, emotionally, when he's faced with the insecurity challenge, when he attacked from school, So how do you protect those children from the psychological thing when it comes to learning? Because now they were learning under a safe space, and all of a sudden insecurity has attacked the school and kept them in fear. And you bring them back home, they're still dealing with the issue of the fear, the psychological attack and all that. And you want to introduce them to the new space of digital learning. How do you get them out of that to get back into the mindset to open up to new learning?
I think we all know that answer, but let me just say that children cannot learn well when they are scared. So it is very important that we protect them emotionally and psychologically. It is more connected to physical security as well. So as adults, teachers, mentors of children, we need to talk. We need to encourage them to talk when they feel. That is where we start from. Actually, we need to talk to them. We need to tell them to express themselves when they feel afraid and when they feel unsafe. So we need to do basic emotional check-ins. Like it starts from there. I'm not saying we'll get there. So check-ins like, how are you feeling today? Talk about the social, emotional, how you can develop other children in the classroom, how children can help other children. So when things like this happen, we should also have some, should I say, safe space where children can talk to people or talk to counselors about how they feel, if they feel safe. Because whether we like it or not, some children cannot even snap out of that shock. They might start doing poorly, in their academy. So we don't want that to happen. So we need to already have this thing built up, like just have it normally in your school. Have like a counselor to check in. They should have like breathing exercises. They should have like grounded stress techniques just to help children. So when things like this happen, they're already used to this procedure. So it just happens. Like we invite children to probably counseling departments to meet some counselors or mentors to speak about situations like this. So at first it might not really help. But with time, I feel like children will feel safe again. But it has to be something that has been ongoing before it happens. Yes.
Okay, Miriam, thank you so much for all the conversation so far. But let's look at the issue of insecurity. If insecurity continues at this rate with how the country and the government is trying to resolve all of the issue of insecurity, what will Nigeria's education sector look like in the next 5 years?
Oh,
I like the fact that I took a deep breath because I'm asking this because you are in the digital space, you've done this and you're an expert on it.
Yes.
I want to see if that can climax into giving the children the best from the digital space.
Okay, it can if necessary things are put in place. But if this keeps going, I think parents will be forced to homeschool their children. And unfortunately, would still have some learning gaps, so to speak, because children also need to socialize to learn. They need that physical exercise. They also need to have that sense of classroom setting, because some children are not prone to learning in digital space. But eventually, if it happens, I mean, it happens. But we're still going to have lapses if we're to take them off the classroom, physical classroom, and then take them to digital space. But yes, children will also learn, because I mean, I have had experiences and I have had good reports about children, how they've been able to understand concepts that have been introduced to them. So yes, children will learn in digital space, but we also need our safe space, our physical space, for children to develop and learn better.
Okay, great. I like the fact that we're still hopeful, and although there are buts to these things, because we know that the internet can serve, but it still has its limitation, even if it's going to be fast and accessible and safe within the home front. But before we let you go, Miriam, what is the single most urgent action Nigeria must take today to keep children learning safe?
I think it's to tackle the insecurity in Nigeria, because that would help children learn, and then they're emotionally safe, they're physically safe, and learning will take place. So if insecurity is curbed, I feel like we can do well. I think the others are just minors. We can do well. So insecurity should be something that should be looked into for children's overall safety.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Miriam Tanko Salami, lead consultant at MTS Edu Consult, who is also an education consultant there. Thank you so much for your insight. It's an amazing one with you all the way from Lagos. We want to say thank you. And we say, keep doing what you do, keep keeping children educated, keep giving them the safe space to learn, and have a lovely one, because we know that the safety of our schools is more than a policy issue. It is a national responsibility. And as digital learning expands, ensuring access, security, and quality will be critical. Thank you so much, Miriam. All right, and that's it, the discussion segments for this morning. And we will bring you more updates and stories coming up shortly on Global Morning Weekend. Please stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily, while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
As always, it's a pleasure to have you. Join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it on Social Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course...
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
Peaceful and joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on... Women can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
a numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Festify is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to
World News in United
Welcome
Nigeria.
to Entertainment Circle. And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
Top Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV Channel 365, on Star Times Channel 276.
It's good to have you back on Global Morning Weekend. This is the second segment of this particular program, and we'll be turning our focus to the sports segment where we have a lot of conversation in the world of sports to bring to you. And our focus today will be capacity building for Nigerian coaches. We always talk about the footballers on the field of play, but what's happening at the technical crew? How equipped are they? How are they being trained in handling issues when it comes to the field of play? And let me just give you a background to all of this. We'll turn our spotlight to the issues that sit at the heart of athletes' development and Nigeria's sporting future, capacity building for coaches. As the global sports landscape intensifies with new techniques, sports science, and athletes management strategies, the role of coaches has never been more important. But are Nigerian coaches getting the right training, exposure, and support to compete at global standards? Joining us this morning is Mr. Lawrence Sunday, who's the training officer of the FCT Coaches Association, who has been deeply involved in shaping training frameworks for grassroots and elite level coaches. Hello, Mr. Lawrence, it's good to have you join us. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me here today.
Awesome. It's good to have you join us on Global Morning Weekend. There's a whole lot happening around the world of sport, especially when it comes to training for coaches. So let's quickly get this straight. The state of coaching development, let's look at the big picture. From your vantage point as training officer, how would you describe the current state of coaching capacity in Nigeria?
Well. I think for some time now, the Nigerian coaches will be having some issue when it comes to training, but I think a lot has changed now because the NFF introduced, for some time we've not had these CAF license training courses. But we thank God it started this year. We've had CAF B and CAF D. They've introduced CAF D. And also, I think some of our coaches have undergone CAF instructor training this year. Because for some years now, we have not been having this opportunity for Nigerian coaches. But things have changed. This year, we're having a lot of coaching program, training programs for coaches. And if we narrow it down to FCT, because I will speak mainly on Nigerian coaches on FCT chapter, because here in FCT, we have been doing a lot to help the coaches to develop their technical ability. And that is why we had a lot of program this year. Okay. First, we encourage all the area councils, because in all the area councils in FCT, we have the coaches councils. We encourage them to organize seminars for their coaches, where they invite top CAF instructors, especially here in FCT. We are blessed. We have about close to 10 CAF instructors.
Great.
Yes, and these CAF instructors have been going around the area council, giving seminars, talks to our coaches to help them develop their technical ability.
Okay, great. I like the fact that you said they brought in the CAF licensing training for coaches. But with that put in place, our coaches where they need to be in terms of skills and continuous professional development?
Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that, you see, in FCT, like I said, I cannot speak for the whole Nigerian coaches or other state association.
Okay, so let's take it from the FCT.
FCT, the experience we have had is that if you look at the national teams, we have almost army of our coaches, then the national team, under 17, under 20, both male and female. So because of the kind of program we are organizing for our coaches, and we bring in top personalities who come to take these our coaches on these techniques. That was the recent one we just had. We had the privilege of having Coach Fani Amu. He was in attendance, and from the classroom down to the field, he followed us, and he was an inspiration to all the coaches that were there. He gave us a lot to learn, and the coaches were very happy to learn from him. And that is why I really want to say, for we have not been sleeping, because in FCT, we have come up with different programs just to help our coaches. Let me just divert a little bit. In the last seminar, we had a guest who came to talk to us on coaching and investment. This really, people may not understand. As a coach, yes, tomorrow you don't know where you can be. Tomorrow things may happen, you may not be coaching, then you divert to other things. And that brings me to, when you say the capacity building for Nigerian coaches, you see, there's a topic we treated. One of the CAF instructor, Coach Balani Q, gave us a team building.
Okay.
And when he talk about team building, he said it's a collection of individuals or athletes that come together for a common goal or objective or resources. Now, you as a coach, I may be coaching today, and maybe when I may reach a stage, I can no longer be able to coach again. Where do I fall to?
Okay.
These are some of the things we teach. We bring experts to talk to our coaches. So that is why we are encouraging our coaches. As you are coaching, you go into other business that can help
sustain you over
sustain
time.
you and help you again. You understand?
Okay.
So, very well, what I'm trying to say here now is that he now said team building. It means even the coach, as a coach, and you are going into business, it's like you are building. And it's, if as I am now, I'm a coach and I'm into a business. I have
great.
my own business that I'm doing too.
Amazing.
So it's, it will help me technically where that as a coach, I'm coach and I'm into business. It's organization. I'm trying to marry the two together.
Great.
So it will help me more, because the way I organize myself in the field, you should be able to see how do I organize myself in the business sector. When you combine this, I think you'll be actually helping yourself and improving your technical ability and to help the athletes you are coaching. Oh,
awesome. So let's look at, every system has gaps. What would you say are the key challenges limiting the growth of these coaches? Is it funding? Is it lack of training opportunities, or outdated methods of something, or something more deeper?
See, if you watch here in FCT, a lot of coaches, they have academies, they struggle, they don't have the means, but they are there trying to see how they can actually help these players. And they use their resources. That is where we are having it very rough in FCT.
Oh, great.
Now, we don't have training facility. You see the only training facility here in FCT, you see all this academic training is Area 3. And it's so choked up that you don't have enough time to train. We don't have facility. And secondly, you see, we don't have people investing in sport, in football. So most of the time, funding is a real challenge, because you come to a team, if the coach cannot provide training kits, material, facility for the players, you just come, you see a coach training, he has about 30 players, 40 players, and they're using 2 balls for training, for ball work, tactical game. How do you think these
so
players
that sounds very demoralizing, that it seems to affect a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
So we need a lot of people to come and support, fund all these academy and facilities.
Okay. So over time, I've been in the sports space and I see that we always have the issue of paucity of funds, and yet we still have the call for private individuals, philanthropists and all that to come sponsor or put in a lot of effort. Your association has its own role as well. Your association has been championing several training programs over the years. Can you talk to us through some of the recent capacity building initiatives the FCT Coaches Association has introduced? Maybe through workshops, certifications, or exchange programs?
Yes. You see, let me start. Like early this year, I think it was around January, February, we had an MOU with the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution. The MOU we had with them was that we want to use football as a tool for saying that, now most of our youth in some of the rural area, they don't have this opportunity. They go into sport or things like they use them for other means of creating problem here and here. And we experienced crisis here, and that was why we had to approach Institute for Peace, and they were very glad to receive us and enter into this MOU with us, so that we can be organizing a program for the youth to see that with this football, they can go to places. Awesome. And we also use it to reach out to other individuals and sponsors to come, just like we had a seminar for youth footballs in FCT, which involved all the area council. We brought them to Institute for Justice and Peace Resolution. Oh, nice. We invited the FA secretary, Coach Aruna Elerika was one of the speakers. Coach Balani Q was one of the speakers. Coach Abimbola Samuel was there. Our chairman, Coach Bartholomew David, we were all there, and the director general of the institute was in our midst. He was there, and he was very happy when he saw a lot of youth came, and he gave them advice that, look, if you can concentrate and play this football, you can go to places and you can live in peace with your brother, whether it's a Yoruba, whether it's an Hausa, whether it's an Igbo, you can live together in one areas with them. So, in fact, what the FCT is trying to do is we are actually trying to bring many programs to involve the players, the coaches, that actually we help. You see, just like the next program we are thinking of, people may not, other states we don't know because we are not there, but what we are doing here in FCT, we marry coaching with other activities just to give our coaches sense of belonging and the players. Like now we say we are going to farming and fishing, poultry and all this. We bring experts to talk to us on this area. And also we have had, we have even brought professionals in the area of health. They've come to talk to us about health, because as a coach, first aid is very, very important.
Very important.
Yes, because on the field of play, things may happen. If you don't have this experience, how do you save your player?
Handle injuries?
Or handle your player or injury? Just like the last seminar, we had one doctor that came, talked to us, told us what we should do, especially in the case of asthma, for our players.
All right.
All
right. So I see that FCT coaches or the association have put in a whole lot to bring the best out of themselves in terms of the athletes themselves, and also give themselves the professional mindsets they can have to handle issues. But funding seems to be the major concern over time.
Yes.
But let's look at the impact on grassroots athletes. Coaches are the backbone of athletes' development. How are these training programs translating into better performance for grassroots athletes in the FCT and beyond? Because I know you were talking about from the FCT, but beyond the FCT, are there a way of extending your hands to other states as well?
Yes. You see, most of the time when we organize training programs for coaches, we send it on the platform, even on the national platform, to make other states to see what we are doing. And you'll be surprised that most of the time we have seminars.
Okay.
We have coaches coming from Kaduna, coaches coming from Niger State, coaches coming from Nasarawa State, coaches coming from Kogi State.
Oh, great.
To participate in this our program. There's no year we organize seminar in FCT that will say we will not have coaches coming from this area, because they see what we are doing. And not only what we are doing, they always see the kind of instructors we always invite. Speakers we invite to come and handle issues, topical issues like this. So that makes them, those who come, when they go back, they tell their other colleagues, it's happening very well in the FCT.
Oh,
and
great.
anytime we publish it, you see a lot of people calling, sending, say they want to be part, they want to come, how did they come, how did they do their registration and things like that.
But how does it translate to the athletes at the grassroots? The training programs, do you see the impacts on the athletes when the coaches get the field of play?
Yes, like let me just tell you now. You see, I will tell you that in FCT, the training program will be given to our players, just like the two teams that won the state FA League this year. When they went to their playoff, the two teams, one, they took them to Kaduna, the other one went to Niger State.
Okay.
For the playoff. And for the first time, just the third time or so, this year the boys did very well. They played all their matches there, they didn't lose anyone.
Oh, amazing.
Yes, they won all their matches and get promoted to play in the NLO2 for the next season. Oh. So, and when you look at the coaches, those who their team qualify were even our members, because we know that we have so many coaches here in FCT. They don't want to belong to our association. They don't know what we are doing.
What's the reason? Are you asking questions? Because if you're a coach and there's an association, I don't see the reason why you won't want to be part of what's happening.
Really, we have tried. We have even licensed our coaches. We have sent messages, but so still are still adamant. But those who really want to learn, who really want to benefit from the association,
okay,
they come to join the association. And that is why anytime those of us who are in the association, when you look at the league, we are playing in FCT, our members are always doing well. And anytime we see non-coaches who are not our member, we used to approach them. I tell them, how can you be a coach? You cannot be a member of the association.
I see.
We try to encourage them. And to the largest extent, we've seen that some of them have come to join us.
So if I may ask, what's the strength of your association? What's the number? If you have that strength, you still have people who are still not in tune with your association. What's your capacity like?
Last year when we started the licensing, and that really made a lot of coaches to actually come and join. It just has some few of them. You go to all the area councils. We have in each area council, we have some. There are more than 100.
Are you serious?
Yes, in some area council. While here in the center, where all the area councils must be represented in the FCT chapter, we have close to about 100 and something.
Amazing.
As a member.
Okay, so I'm looking at the fact that we have this number of coaches in the FCT, and you have an association who's been manning the issues of training, capacity building, to see how the coaches can embrace technology. Because let's look at technology and modern coaching methods. There's a whole lot that has come to change the narrative. The sports world is moving rapidly. Analytics and digital performance tracking, sports psychology. To what extent are Nigerian coaches, let's look at from the FCT perspective, being exposed to these modern methods, and how important is technology in the future of coaching? Because you've mentioned the CAF licensing, the ideas brought into you. But aside the CAF licensing, what are introduction are you bringing in to also help coaches harness this technology into future of coaching?
Hi. You know, here in
I'm
yes,
trying
when you're talking of technology, I was just listening to you and things like that.
All right.
Let me just tell you the gospel truth.
All right.
Here. We don't have these facilities. Okay. I keep mentioning it. We don't have these facilities, and what we do here is we just try to manage, organize these seminars for our coaches, because when you talk of the technology, just like you take example, the maybe in Europe, you see a team has a coach,
okay,
a goalkeeper coach, a defender coach, attacker coach, midfielder coach, and things like that. Everybody has his department to take these players. But here in Nigeria, you see just one coach. He's a goalkeeper coach. He's a defender coach. He take all the players. And with our own experience and hard work is what is even taking some of our things far. But when you come to talk of the technology, where do we have the access when we don't even have the facilities?
Oh my God.
We don't have the facilities. So how can I be talking about technology with this my coaching period? Now, when we talk about technology, you yourself know that there are many things that are involved in it. If I have a good management, I should be able to have my own office, and I'll have where I can always bring the players, sit down, put on the screen, show these players some of the tricks or all these things on the screen. But there's nothing like that. It's just for me to just stay on the pitch. As I'm training the players, I'll sit them down on the floor. I'll be telling them, this is the techniques, this is how you should do, this is how you should do this. I'm only just talking.
So they don't see the visual
part of it. They don't see the visual part of it for them to understand. But when you use technology,
it's visible.
Visible, and they can see. But they are just listening. Even some of the players, as they're sitting down listening to you.
Sometimes they can get absent-minded. And
yes, but when you are showing them on the screen, they'll be following it. They will be concentrating. So technology, basically in Nigeria, I don't think we have that capacity.
So, Coach, let's get it right. We're looking at it from the grassroots point of view right now, which is supposed to be the foundation to our athletes getting it right. If you are sounding this way, that at this point we're still struggling to understand how to bring in the new techniques in terms of technology, how do we get it right when it gets to the national stage where we have, for instance, the Super Eagles? Look at our build-up to the World Cup. A lot of questions, a lot of concern. The NFF has its own side of the story where a lot of issues have been raised. How do we get this right when we can get basic things and we're told provisions are made for the NFF?
There's one question anytime they ask me, I always try to avoid is I don't want to always go into this issue of with the NFF when it comes to the national team, because I'm not there. I don't know what they are doing. So I cannot even speak on this issue. All I just know that I only just watch, hear, listen to the radio, to the TV, and all what they are saying. But me as a coach, I have my preservation. That is why I find it very difficult to criticize coaches.
Okay.
If a coach is not doing well, I don't criticize you.
Because you know the challenges.
I know the challenges that comes in it. So when it comes to the national team, especially the Super Eagles. Hardly I criticize the coach. Because why? We know some of the challenges, but we don't want to come out and talk. We just look at whatever they are saying. Whatever they want to do, they should go ahead and do. But for us, or for me in particular, I find it very difficult to always want to begin to say what I know I don't understand, what I know I don't know. I don't want to begin to join issue with one person or the other. Okay. Say yes.
So let's look at it. This is something you do and you're passionate about, which is in terms of building capacity for athletes and see them stand at the spotlights and the frame. But it's actually sad at this point to see that we don't even understand how this is playing out. And you've mentioned the challenges coaches tend to face when they're not provided with the necessary tools or infrastructure or basic things to work with. Let's look at national framework. Looking beyond the FCT, do you think Nigeria needs a unified national framework for coaching development, something that sets standards, ensures certifications, and monitors quality?
Yes. You see, Nigeria, I think what we really need in our country, Nigeria, is even the NFF, just as they have started this year. No, I think last year they started it when they have this CAF D for some coaches just to prepare them before they go for their CAF C program, because we have not had it for a very long time. And then if they begin to give us some of these programs, it will actually help the national team, help our coaches. But where I used to have an issue is that both not only in the national team, in the club side, national club side, you see a coach already is beginning to lobby for the post, and a coach is already there. But you see, this coach who wants to go and lobby for that post. When it comes to the national team, people are struggling to be in the national team. Merit is no longer
giving pain off anymore.
Yes, so you can see that even when the coach is there, they give him the job.
It's not even
Tell me, how can the coach stamp authority? You went to lobby for it, you struggle for it, so and they have given you the job to go and...
but they give you conditions attached to it.
Attached to it for you to do. So, and even when the coach is not doing well, what did they say? What did they do? The authority would not even want to say anything about the coach. So, and the coach will be there. I've seen some coaches that here in FCT, I don't want to call the coach name. He's a coach that have coached so many big teams. If he goes to a club side, he always tell them, this is what I want. You don't tell me what to do. If you start having issue with them before you know, you just carry it back. And
because he has an authority.
Yes, he leaves. These are the kind of coaches this country need. If you go to the national team and you tell them, I need this to succeed here and here. If they're not listening to you, if you leave,
they will look for you.
They will look for you. Or if they bring other coach, and the coach will say, for me to succeed, I need all these tools and all these things. They don't.
The tone has been set.
Yes, but some of our coaches, I just want to be there. I just want to be there.
It sounds like there were more incentives and more things to get from it. That's why they just lobby for it.
So they just want to be there. So why can't we be having issue with our national team?
Okay.
Because we have seen many a time when our national teams, they are training. Look at the training kits.
It's not given.
So that's why when it comes to the national issue like this,
I don't want to look at it. But this is basically for a framework to see how that works out. Because if we have a good framework, obviously things should align themselves.
That is if, well, like what we are seeing now with the NFF, you can see the project going up in the National Stadium.
Yes.
Yes. If with the trend they are going, and they continue like that, I think something good may come out of it.
Okay.
Because, like we keep saying, facility, you know, by the time they finish, that project will actually, there are a lot of things that will be involved in those projects.
Okay.
And I think it will change some of the things we'll be looking at, things that is not happening.
Okay.
It will begin to happen in the Nigerian football, and that will actually help us. That is, if those who are there continue with what they are doing now.
Setting the right tone.
Yes.
Okay.
If they continue, I think a lot of things will really change, and things will definitely happen for our country, Nigeria.
Okay, hopefully we hope that it gets to that point. But let's look at support for female coaches. I'm always on that part. Do we have the gender balancing for, because we're also seeing that more women are taking up coaching roles. Is the current system providing enough opportunities and support for female coaches to grow and lead in terms of coaching?
Yes, you see, I'm very happy. You know, NFF did something, I think it was last year.
Okay.
When they organized a special CAPC
for female coaches.
For only female coaches.
Amazing, amazing.
For only female coaches, you are invited from various states. They are almost, for only female coaches.
So if we have that number of female coaches coming out, that means we have good things coming for us.
Yes, even here in the FCT.
Okay.
The number of female coaches we have now, they are close to 20.
Great.
Female coaches.
Great.
That are
is this across all sports or just football?
Football, who are in the association.
Oh, I see.
Yes. And there are some of them running their NIS course now.
Okay.
Female coaches.
Oh, good.
So we have close to about 20 female coaches now in the FCT Coaches Association.
Oh, I see. That's good.
Yes.
Okay, so that means there's room and there's good support for females who are passionate about coaching to see. So it's not just about the female footballers now, it's on the coaching side of it. Amazing. Yes. So let's look at this. We've talked about the issue of funding provisions and all that. For the government and private sector support, what kind of support would you like to see from government agencies, sports federations and private sector to strengthen coaching capacity nationwide? Because we have our local leagues and all that, but across that, what kind of support are you looking forward to?
See, the kind of support I'm really looking for to really develop our football is we need those who can corporate organizations, companies that can sponsor our leagues, our various leagues, right from the grassroots to the top. Look at what is going on in Morocco. You can see it's because of the funding. It's the funding. And because they have funding for all these categories, they begin to train their players from the age of 4, 6, 8, 10. They are developing them. The funding is there.
Okay.
The academies, they see that they fund them so that those who are taking care of all this academy, once they have all this facility funding, you know, you'll be able to do good job, and these players will see that when they come to the pitch of play, you are 30 players and you see 35 balls. Everybody is picking ball, is doing something with the ball. Then when you come down to the league, you know, our league we are still crying. Because I heard story that even in other countries, just street football, they organize league, they have sponsors. So if we have sponsors for our leagues from the grassroots up there, I think there will be a lot of development in football in Nigeria.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
When we can have this funding, funding has always been a problem.
A major challenge.
Yes. You see, even when we are playing league, at the end of the league, nothing to even give to the participating teams to encourage them. So tell me, you see, how can a player can be developed very well? Because you can see most of our players, every small thing, I want to go Europe, I want to go Europe, I want to go to Europe.
Because they feel that's what there's a provision and welfare to give them the needed sources
and support.
Okay, well, let's hope that as time goes on, that the narrative can change. Because I see you do a lot of advocacy, a lot of talks about these things to see how things can be aligned properly in terms of coaching. And if we have the capacity well built for coaches, the athletes will definitely feel the impact, because that would transfer obviously to the field of play and they'll get it. But let's look at upcoming training programs. What kind of programs are you looking forward to as a refresher or seminars, courses, training for coaches that coaches should be aware of when it comes to your association?
Yes, this year we have, by Saturday, we'll end all our activity for the year. Then by January, we'll come out our year planner, where we program different activities for the year for the coaches.
Okay.
Yes, we like first, we used to encourage our coaches to try to see that those who have not gone to NIS, they should enroll in NIS.
Okay.
There it will actually help them. Just as the program is going on, I will have almost more than 30 of them were in NIS now. Then we always have seminars in all the area councils and societies. We encourage them to organize this refresher course for their various members in this council. Then for the state level, after all the area council they have organized, we now bring all of them down to the state.
Okay.
We organize a training seminar for the coaches. Every year we always have particular topic that we treat to help these coaches. Just like this year, we have team building.
Okay.
We have match reading and analysis, which we brought resource persons that came to speak on it. We have coaches and diversifications. We had coaching and investment, like I told you.
Yeah.
So next year, we are going to bring more of the training program. Not, like I told you, as we give our coaches seminars on different training programs, we also made them to know that even you as a coach, as a player, you must always think of your future. So you must prepare. Okay. So that is why when we are teaching them about coaching, we have other investment areas we teach our coaches to
improve on the self.
Yes,
okay.
And even our players, and tell them, look, today you'll be making the money. You don't handle your money well. When you're out of football, you see
life becomes a mirage.
So you must invest. So we tell them all these things. So next year we have a lot of activity in hand. And by most of the time when we finish these seminars, we organize what they call pre-season tournament.
Okay.
We want to test the ability of the coaches if they really understand what
the training was about.
Are they really giving to the players? They come to play this pre-season. Then at the end, some of them will go back and say, okay, I've done well or I've not done well. I need to improve because the league is coming. Because we do these things before the league starts to help them to improve.
Oh, great. Well, Mr. Sunday Lawrence, the training officer of the FCT Coaches Association, thank you so much for sharing these insights with us. And we really, really appreciate your time with us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Well, coaching remains one of the strongest pillars of any sports ecosystem, and continued investments in our coaches means stronger athletes, stronger federations, and a stronger sporting nation. Well, it's been an amazing outing here on Global Morning Weekend, and that's it on the sports segments for today. Up next is more from Global Morning Weekend. Please stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
It's good to have you back. It's still Global Morning, and we have lots, like we told you, more to bring to you. I still have my colleague here with me. Mukhtar, how have you been?
I've been great. I've been monitoring the conversation, and it's been very insightful and very interesting, particularly the school initiative and the measures around safety that should be put in place to secure our students. Okay. So we'd have a much more robust education system where students are not having the mindset of fear when they are learning. They will be able to learn with full attention and concentration because they know their safety is guaranteed. So it's a great one. Of course, sport is one conversation I always like to engage in. And I like to see our coaches move up to the best standards. I want to see our coaches coaching the A-list teams, not just within Nigeria, even around the world. That's a future that I would like to see for our coaching system in Nigeria.
Okay. Well, amazingly, we hope that comes to fruition because we see where he raised a lot of concern, funding and availability of the new technology, which is in line with what's happening across the world. Hopefully that it gets to us at the grassroots, which is the major foundation to get it right and bring us at the spotlight and preparations for World Cups and CAF, for African Cup of Nations, all of that. If we have it right, this should play very well for Nigeria. But let's quickly tell you that our focus right now is turned to aerobics. We have aerobics for you. We hope that you can still catch up and do a little bit of exercise and stretch your body a bit. Stay with us as we bring you aerobics, and we'll be right back to wrap this